The day.
Hey guys, it's Alec, Torelli, and welcome to the hand of the day. I'm bringing you this one from the Wynn, Macau. As you can see right here, this is where the magic happens. This is where all the high-stakes poker action happens in Macau, and I've played a ton of poker right here. So today I'm bringing you a hand that I played a little while ago while I was out here in Macau, but a really interesting one. I've yet to share it. I've been a little bit hesitant to share it, but I decided I'm going to do it with you guys today. So today's hand comes from a game we're playing 1K, 2K, Hong Kong, no limit hold'em. So it's about, like, you divide by 8, so it's about 120, 240 US. So a big game, tough game, and my opponent, who I've played with a lot before, young, solid, tight, aggressive pro, opens under the gun, makes it 6,000, and I'm in the cutoff with 2 7s, and I opt to call. Now we go heads up to the flop. Flop comes ace, queen, 7, rainbow. So the pot's about 15,000. He leads out for like 10 or 12K. I call, and we go heads up to the turn. I think right here on the flop, when he leads, like, he's gonna be doing that a lot of the time, but I think it's important to realize first, like, how tight ranges are when you're playing 9-handed in a relatively big game, and the game is pretty tough. Things change a lot when you're playing like a 2-5 game or a smaller game with a lot of weak players. People open up more. But when you're playing a game that's bigger with the same type of players that we play with pretty much day in and day out, and it's bigger than your normal game, it's going to influence how the people play, even if it maybe shouldn't. So I feel like when he opens preflop here, he doesn't have a ton of hands, right? He doesn't have a ton of bluffs. Maybe he has some ace-x. Maybe the worst hand he has is like 9-8 suited or like a mid-pair. But, you know, he definitely has a strong range of hands. So I'm not, like, when the flop comes ace, queen, 7, of course I'm ahead here most of the time. But I think I have a pretty trivial call here on the flop. It's not only that I want to protect against the times he has like a set of aces or a set of queens, but if I'm going to raise here on the flop, then when I call, I'm not going to have enough strong hands, right? So I need to sort of protect and call here with strong hands, call here with some floats like king, jack suited, jack 10 suited, and call with ace queen, and then call with ace x, so that, you know, I have like a balanced range here. I'm tough to play against, right? So you don't want to always be raising your strong hands and always be calling your weaker hands, otherwise you're just too easy to play against. So I'm going to call here all the time. I'm not going to have a raising range at all, and we go heads up to the turn. So far the hand's pretty standard. Turn comes a queen, bringing another spade. So now there's a backdoor flush draw, and my opponent checks. I bet like pretty big, like maybe 30K, and my bet sizing here, I want it to be bigger because I want to get value from something like an ace. I want to put an ace in a really tough spot. I want to get value from a queen, and I just want to build the pot to be able to make a big bet on the river. My opponent check calls, and the river comes a jack of spades. Now on this river, I'm really got to think about like what hands I get value from, what it looks like I have, and what it looks like my opponent has. My opponent checks, right? And now the pot's pretty big. It's getting close to 100,000, right? So we got about, I don't know, 200,000 left behind, 250,000 behind. And if I'm in a spot where I'm going to get check raised here, I'm in a pretty tough spot. I don't really beat that many hands that are going to check raise. And I don't really know what to do if I get check raised, right? He could have aces full, he could have ace queen, he could have queen jack, he could have king 10 of spades. So those are all hands that are going to check raise. And if he mixes in a few bluffs with like king queen, then I don't really know what to do when I get check raised. So I don't really love getting check raised. Then I have to ask myself, well, what hands am I going to get check called by? My opponent checks the river. I'm not, like, it's really unlikely he's going to check call with ace king. And it's unlikely he's going to check call with like queen 10 suited. I don't even know if he can have queen 10 suited because he's probably going to fold that pre-flop. So he can maybe have king queen, which is really the only reasonable hand I'm hoping to get check called from. Ace king is going to fold. Ace x suited is unlikely. He might just fold the turn with that. Maybe he calls, but he's definitely going to fold the river. Or maybe he turns that hand into a bluff, but it's like never going to really check call me. And the reason is because I can't really be bluffing. That jack like hit a lot of hands that I have. Maybe I could be bluffing with like king jack or jack 10 suited, but there aren't many combos of those hands. And the combos of those hands don't outweigh the hands that I have for value, like ace queen, queen jack, any flush, like, you know, king 10 suited, or maybe even like a float like 10-9 suited or sevens full. So I'm gonna have enough hands that I'm value betting that like I don't think my opponent could call me with a light hand. I also think that it's really tough if I get check raised, and I think there's a lot of strong hands that my opponent still could have. He still could have aces full, he could have quads, he could have ace queen, could have king 10 of spades, could have queen jack. And when you add up all those hands that he could have, and then you really look at the situation and say he's not going to call me light because it looks like I'm really strong, I just didn't see myself getting a lot of value. I saw myself potentially getting check raised and not getting check called, and I saw myself, if I get check raised, I don't really know what to do. So I opted to check this river, and I know that seems like a kind of crazy play. It's one of the biggest checks I've ever made in my life. Given the action, I probably should have bet here. Most of the time, conventional wisdom says to bet. But given what I knew about my opponent, given how tight he was, given that I thought he was going to respect any bet I made on the river, and given that I thought he had a very narrow range of hands pre-flop, I just thought that it's a spot where I'm either getting check raised with a monster or I'm getting check folds from every hand that doesn't beat me. I didn't really see a lot of value of betting. So I checked, and honestly I didn't think that long. I checked after like 6-7 seconds, and he tables king 10 for a straight flush. I mean a royal flush. So he tables king 10, and he's like, how the hell did you check there? And I never really shared this hand because I just don't, I don't want to share really spots where I feel like I'm making plays that, you know, sort of give a lot of insight into how I think about the game, or that, you know, are really sort of provocative and really could help people improve dramatically in big spots like this. But at the same time, I thought it was such a cool hand. I wanted to share it with you guys and, you know, inspired to share hands with you from Macau while I'm here and playing some high-stakes poker. I hope you took something away from it. Let me know what you guys think. Leave me a comment below. Am I crazy? You know, what would you have done? And if you guys have hands you'd like me to review that you guys played, send them to me on my blog, alectorelli.com. I'll pick the best ones and feature them here on my channel. Subscribe to my channel, putting out a lot more good content soon, and that is all from the Wynn in Macau. Take it easy. See you guys next time on the Hand of the Day. Peace.